We like to believe we are the architects of our lives, that every decision we make is conscious, thoughtful, deliberate. We tell ourselves, I chose this, I want this, I know who I am. But psychology tells a different story, a quiet truth living beneath the surface. Most of what we do isn't fully chosen. It's driven by invisible forces we rarely see, the patterns we inherited, the emotions we never processed, the instincts wired into us long before we knew we were human. Our behavior is not a straight line. It's a web of influences we barely understand. Think about it. Why do you prefer certain people? Why does a song from childhood make you emotional? Why do some situations trigger anxiety while others make you feel unstoppable? You don't wake up deciding these things. They rise from somewhere deeper, the subconscious mind. Psychologists describe the subconscious like a silent operating system. It's always running, processing information at a speed logic can't match. Before the conscious mind forms a decision, the subconscious has already calculated what feels safe, familiar, rewarding, or dangerous. And that's the shock. The emotional brain makes the first move, not logic. We are emotional creatures who learn to justify feelings with logic afterward. You don't buy a product because it's the smartest choice. You buy it because you want to feel something. Prestige, safety, beauty, identity. Later, your brain writes the script that explains why your decision was rational. This is how the mind protects the ego. It gives us the illusion of control. So what shapes these invisible forces? They begin early, very early. Long before we learn language, we are learning behavior. A child watches their parents closely, not their words, their reactions, their tone, their emotional availability, their fear. If a child learns that expressing emotion leads to rejection, the brain builds a rule. Emotions are unsafe. If love only comes after achievement, I must earn approval to be worthy. If anger is punished, conflict is dangerous. These rules become automatic patterns. You don't decide them, you live them. We grow older, but these programs stay young. A 30-year-old body can carry a 6-year-old belief, and that belief will drive behavior. You might avoid opportunities because deep down, you don't believe you deserve them. You might chase relationships that mirror your childhood dynamics, even if they hurt you. You might stay silent when your heart wants to speak. Then you will create logical explanations for why you acted that way. I just don't like risk. I'm not good at expressing myself. People always leave. It feels like truth, but it's just old programming still running. The brain has one priority, survival through familiarity. It prefers a painful pattern it knows over a healthy pattern it has never experienced. That's why people repeat cycles, even destructive ones. But childhood is not the only invisible force. Human behavior carries millions of years of evolution. Your instincts were shaped long before society existed. Fear of rejection once meant death. Belonging meant survival. Food scarcity shaped cravings. Power dynamics shaped hierarchy. Everything your ancestors felt, feared, desired, echoes in your nervous system. Your attraction to confidence isn't random. Your fear of humiliation isn't overly personal. Your craving for validation isn't weakness. It's biology. And society adds another layer. Culture gives us identity, but also limitation. We learn what is acceptable, what is forbidden, what is normal, what is crazy. We follow rules we never agreed to. This is why humans often feel like two versions of themselves, the one they are and the one they pretend to be. So if most behavior is invisible, where does choice exist? Choice begins with awareness, not judgment, not shame, awareness. The moment you become conscious of your patterns, they lose power because now you are watching them instead of living inside them. You start to ask deeper questions. Why do I react this way? Whose voice is this? Mine or someone from my past? Is this desire real or is it a survival instinct? What am I trying to protect? My heart or my ego? This is the beginning of transformation, not by force, but by curiosity. The truth is simple. You're not broken, you're programmed. And programming can be rewritten. In the next chapter, we'll go beyond the internal forces and look at the social mirror, because behavior isn't shaped in isolation, it's shaped in the presence of others. What if who you think you are is partly a reflection of the world around you? If our inner world builds the foundation of who we are, then society builds the walls. Every person you've ever met has left fingerprints on your identity. From the words of your parents, to the silence of a classroom, to the approval or rejection of your peers, you became someone shaped by the reflection of others. Psychologists call this the social mirror, the idea that we understand ourselves by seeing how others react to us. Before you ever said, "This is who I am," someone else said, "This is who you should be." As children, we don't have a fully formed identity, so we search for a map. We absorb the norms of our culture, the expectations of family, the rules of school, the labels society gives us during us as smart, quiet, problematic, talented, emotional, strong. These labels become a lens, and sometimes a cage. Think about it. If a child is called shy enough times, they stop speaking, not because they are shy, but because the world decided for them. If someone is told they're not creative, they might never explore the ideas that live inside their mind. If a teenager learns love requires perfection, they might spend adulthood performing instead of living. Identity is never built alone. It's built through the eyes watching us. And as we grow, the mirror gets larger. It becomes society itself. Culture tells us what success looks like. Media tells us what beauty looks like. Trends tell us what we should care about. Social groups tell us what's acceptable and what is risky. We don't just adopt these rules. We carry them like invisible commandments. We dress a certain way, speak a certain way, behave a certain way, not to express individuality, but to maintain belonging. Humans are tribal beings. For millions of years, survival depended on the group. Rejection wasn't emotional pain, it was a death sentence. This ancient instinct still lives inside us today. That's why criticism from strangers hurts more than it logically should. That's why we fear public mistakes, social judgment, and humiliation. We're not afraid of the moment itself. We're afraid of losing the tribe. Modern society isn't a forest filled with predators, but our nervous system still thinks it is. Consider this. Why do trends spread so fast? Why do people follow influencers they've never met? Why do ideas become global movements overnight? Because humans mirror each other. Emotion spreads, beliefs spread, behavior spreads through imitation. When enough people repeat something, it becomes normal, whether it's healthy or not. This is the same force that creates kindness and cruelty, the same force that builds unity and division, the same force that inspires revolutions and conformity. Sometimes we don't even notice the influence. A friend laughs a certain way, and we adopt their tone. A coworker uses a word, and soon it leaves our mouth too. A trend becomes popular, and we feel pressure to join, even without interest. We call this social proof, the brain's shortcut. If others are doing it, it must be right. But right for whom? Right for your authentic self? Or right for the identity assigned to you? The danger of the social mirror is subtle. We may forget who we are without it. Many people live a life of reflection, reacting to expectations instead of choices. The career chosen to impress family, the opinions repeated to fit in, the lifestyle adopted to avoid criticism. Then one day we ask, do I even know myself? Not the version shaped by society, but the version that exists when no one is watching. Here's the paradox. We need the mirror to understand ourselves, but we must step away from it to truly become ourselves. So how do we break free? Not by rejecting society, but by observing its influence, by noticing the silent forces shaping our identity, by questioning the labels given to us, by recognizing when we are acting from fear of rejection instead of desire for truth. True identity begins where imitation ends. You start to make choices based on values, not validation. You begin to speak your mind even if your voice shakes. You form relationships based on alignment, not performance. You allow yourself to change, even if the world doesn't understand. This is liberation, not from society, but from the invisible need to earn belonging. Because the truth is, you were born belonging. In the next chapter, we go deeper into transformation itself. If our behavior is shaped by the subconscious in society, can we rewrite our identity? Can we break the cycle? Understanding the forces that shape us is powerful, but knowledge alone doesn't change behavior. If it did, we would all be living our highest potential by now. Real change is harder because it means doing something the brain has spent a lifetime avoiding, stepping into the unknown. The patterns that run your life, the fears, habits, reactions, beliefs, didn't appear overnight. They were built through repetition, through survival, through conditioning, through years of emotional experience. So it makes sense that breaking those patterns also takes time. But here's the truth psychology offers. The brain is rewritable. Neurons change, beliefs transform, identity evolves, or the story you lived yesterday does not need to be the story you live tomorrow. To break the cycle, we must first understand it. Behavior at its core is a loop. Trigger, emotion, reaction, result. A moment happens. It activates an old memory. That memory produces a feeling. That feeling pushes you into a familiar behavior, even if it doesn't serve you. You think you're reacting to the present, but you're actually reacting to the past. So where does change begin? It begins with awareness, the ability to notice the loop while it's happening, not to fight it, but to see it. Notice the trigger, feel the emotion, pause before the reaction. Breathe into the discomfort of doing something different. That pause, that tiny moment of awareness, is where transformation begins. Because for the first time, you're not operating on automatic programming. You're choosing. Choice is the doorway to freedom. Psychologists call this cognitive reframing, the ability to reinterpret a situation, to challenge the belief beneath the emotion. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What is this teaching me?" Instead of saying, "That's just who I am," you ask, "Who do I want to become?" Reframing turns pain into data. It turns emotion into information. It turns patterns into tools for growth. And once you see the pattern clearly, you can begin to rewrite it. This is where values matter. Not goals, not expectations. Values. Because values are choices we make about the kind of person we want to be, even when no one is watching. Do you want to be courageous? Then practice honesty in small moments. Do you want to be confident? Then take risks that scare you but stretch you. Do you want to be authentic? Then speak your truth, even if it trembles. Behavior changes through micro actions repeated consistently, not through dramatic transformation, but through small, repeated choices that send a message to the brain. We are not who we used to be. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable, because the brain equates discomfort with danger. When you try something new, your nervous system might say, "This isn't safe." But safety isn't the same as growth. Sometimes safety is just familiarity wearing a mask. Think about a habit you've tried to break, or an emotion you've tried to change. Notice how the old pattern calls you back, not because it's right, but because it's known. The unknown is the birthplace of who you could become. That's why emotional intelligence is so important. The ability to notice your internal world without being controlled by it. Emotional intelligence isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about understanding them. Why am I angry? Where is this coming from? What memory is this tied to? What am I afraid of losing? Every answer takes you deeper into your own narrative, because no therapist, no book, no video can answer the question only you can ask: what story am I living? And if it's a story created by childhood patterns, by social pressure, by someone else's expectations, you have the power to rewrite it. Not by erasing the past, but by giving it new meaning. The final stage of transformation is integration, when the new behavior becomes the new identity. When you no longer have to remind yourself to act differently because the brain has updated its belief about who you are. You are no longer reacting from a 6-year-old's fear, but from a mature understanding. You are no longer chasing validation, but living from self-worth. You are no longer repeating the patterns, but creating purpose. Rewiring behavior is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming yourself, without the layers of programming and expectation. Because beneath everything you've been taught to be, there is someone you were always meant to be. And that is the greatest journey a human can take. The journey from automatic living to conscious creation. This is the psychology of human behavior. Not just the study of why we act, but the invitation to choose how we live.